On today's show, the LA Clippers signed Yuki Kawamura, a fan favorite, to an Exhibit 10 contract. Going to be talking about what that means and more on today's Locked On Clippers.
You are Locked On Clippers, your daily Los Angeles Clippers podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, sir. You were locking in with the Clips. My name is Darian Vaziri, also known as Dime Dropper, and today we're going to be talking about the official signing of Jamarion Sharp to a two-way contract that was confirmed by the Clippers themselves, an update on the aspiration investigation. But first, we're going to be talking about Yuki Kawamura. Yes, the fan favorite 5'7", 25-year-old Japanese player who last played for the Chicago Bulls is going to be with the LA Clippers on an Exhibit 10 contract. Now, for those that don't know what that means, an Exhibit 10 contract is the same thing that we signed Ty Washington to last season. It's a one-year minimum salary, non-guaranteed training camp deal. So we're going to have Yuki in training camp, and basically it gives teams a low-risk way to kind of see or evaluate, some of these guys, for their potential G League team, and it lets them do that without using a roster spot, a real roster spot. So Yuki Kawamura, this is a guy who would be the second Japanese player on this current Clipper roster, besides, of course, Rui Hachimura. Funny that their last names both end with Mura. But Yuki is a guy who you can't help but root for. You know what I mean? As a guy who's a small guard myself, and the same height as this guy myself, I might add, it's always incredible seeing this guy on the court. You know what I mean? Just how small he is compared to everybody. It reminds me of when I was at the 06 Clippers playoff game against the Nuggets and I saw Earl Boykins play. He just looks so much smaller than everybody else on the court. Lightning quick, but obviously, I don't think that Yuki has much of an NBA career in his future just because he's so small. And if you're that small, you have to be like outrageously good to make up for it. And I think Yuki Kawamura is good, but I don't know about outrageously good. I do feel as though he'll have a successful career overseas. But right now, so far, he was obviously undrafted, went to Tokai University in Tokyo, and then ended up playing for the Memphis Grizzlies in 2024-25 after playing 4 years for the Yokohama B Corsairs, which is the highest division of the B League, which I think let me see. I think that's it's the Japanese league, obviously. Japan Professional Basketball League. Now, this is so after that, he came to the Memphis Grizzlies, spent a year there, spent some time with the Memphis Hustle, and then last year with the Chicago Bulls, spent some time with the Windy City Bulls in the G League. So it would honestly be really cool if we had Yuki Kawamura play on our G League team, the San Diego Clippers, because it would just add so much buzz to those games. Everybody roots for the little guy, the underdog. And Yuki Kawamura is that. He's one of those guys that gives people the opportunity to kind of believe that, a small guy could make the NBA, a small guy could take the court in the league. And just to read off some of his numbers, he played 22 games in 2024-25, a season in which the Memphis Grizzlies were the 8th seed in the West. He only played 22 games, averaged 4 minutes a game, and obviously garbage time. 2 points on 37% shooting, 30 from three. So, if you look at these shooting splits, if they were better, maybe he would have a case to play more minutes. Last year, 18 games with the Chicago Bulls, 12 minutes a game. So he averaged 3 times as many minutes, basically, but he didn't shoot much better. He averaged 3 points, 33% from the field shooting, 30 from three, 89.5% from the free throw line. He did average 3 assists in those 12 minutes. That's pretty good, but it's not much to talk about. It's more of like, I don't want to say a PR move because that's disrespectful to a guy who's earned an Exhibit 10, but it's an opportunity for the Clippers to have another Japanese player on the roster, good PR move, and we would obviously like to see something happen, but, the Clippers contract situation and the amount of players on our roster, that's a complicated thing because of this whole aspiration, Kawhi trade hold that's going on right now. So that's the latest news for the Clippers in terms of roster moves. Yuki Kawamura is on the Clippers on an Exhibit 10. Now, remember, last year we had Ty Washington on Exhibit 10. He ended up getting his way onto the roster and ended up playing some games. But, and it was, you remember, John Poulikitis was also on an Exhibit 10. And then eventually Ty Washington converted him into a two-way contract in December. But Patrick Baldwin Jr. was also on an Exhibit 10. So, it's just something to monitor from afar. I think the Clippers, if you live in San Diego, and I know there's a lot of Clipper fans that live in SD, if you're a Clipper fan that lives in San Diego, I would definitely make an effort to try to go to some of these G League games. I can't imagine they're very expensive. And you're going to get to see guys like maybe Yuki Kawamura or Baba Miller or Jamarion Sharp or Jonai Broome, or Martinelli. These guys that would hopefully be part of the Clippers' future, hopefully be contributors down the line, and you're going to get to see them kind of show off their skills. I think that would be awesome, and I think that arena is really, really cool looking. But, yeah, San Diego Clippers, and I love the branding for them because it's very reminiscent of the old school San Diego Clippers before they moved to L.A. I think it's a great tribute to them, but yeah, we play at the Front Wave Arena, which is an arena in Oceanside. And mind you, this Front Wave Arena opened in 2024. So honestly, I got to make my way down there. It's got to be nice if it's built in 2024. You know what else was opened in 2024? The Intuit Dome. So it's as new as the Intuit Dome, essentially. It's only been a thing for 2 years. So that's definitely an experience if you're one of those San Diego-based Clipper fans, because I know we have plenty of them. So go check out the guys. Maybe you'll see Yuki Kawamura, all 5'7" of him, putting on a show. So definitely cool to have two Japanese players on the squad, although he's technically not on the squad, but a guy who you just want to root for at the end of the day. So hopefully it goes well. Welcome to Clipper Nation to some degree, Yuki Kawamura. But coming up, gonna talk about the main news that seems to be trending every single day, an update on the investigation. I gotta tell you a little something about Odoo. Running a business shouldn't feel like you're trying to connect a bunch of systems that were never designed to work cohesively. One app for accounting, you got another for inventory, you got another for tracking attendance, another for sales, whatever it may be, and somehow none of them mesh together. That's where Odoo comes in. Odoo is an all-in-one business management software that brings every part of your business together in one powerful platform. From sales and accounting to inventory and marketing, everything works in one place, helping your team move faster, stay organized, and focus on growing the business instead of managing software. And the best organizations know that success isn't just about talent. It's about everyone working toward the same goal and being in sync. And I think that's something the New York Knicks found last year with their starting five, with Mike Brown, and just clicked at the right time. Great organizations win because operations matter, and that's why you should get Odoo. Try for free today at odoo.com/lockedon. That's odoo.com/lockedon. All right, Clipper Nation, talking about Yuki Kawamura signing on an Exhibit 10 deal, but now we're going to talk about an update with the investigation. So let me just say this. I, last year, basically listened to all of Pablo Torre, or as I call him, Weasel Torres's podcasts. And the reason why I'm calling him that is tongue-in-cheek. It's a little bit of a joke. It's kind of like you're with us or against us, and he's trying so hard to nail us. And I know he's just, doing his content, doing his job, doing his grind. Like, I troll on Twitter a lot, and people take it very seriously, which I think is hilarious. I just get a rise out of them because, for whatever reason, everybody loves Weasel Torres. But the reason why I say this is because at the end of the day, I'm a Clipper fan. I'm not some guy that just covers this team. I'm not some flunky that Locked On hired that just covers the team but isn't a fan. I was born and bred in this shit. For real. I was sitting up in 318 as a 7-year-old kid watching Jerry Stackhouse hit game winners on a 23-win team and seeing my sister cry down the escalator talking about we never win games. So I'm not going to sit here and be, oh, Mr. Objective. You have had to listen to me trash Kawhi Leonard, James Harden, and all these stars we've had for the last couple of years. And now I finally told you guys, I told everybody. Sorry I'm getting so like worked up here. I'm not getting worked up. It's just the passion coming out here. Because sometimes I just like getting in my soapbox. And I love that you guys appreciate this. But let me tell you something, guys. This dime dropper guy that you've known for the last couple of years, that this objective fan, yes, I'm an objective fan. But I've been so anti our own players since I picked up a mic and started doing content. And that's not intentional. That's just my feeling. But that's not a representation of what I've been as a fan in 21 years of Clipper fandom. I'm not like that. In high school, I used to die on the sword with Lob City. It was just after 2023, I was like, this is ridiculous. Like, you guys, Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, are wasting our time, are wasting our money. And then we got James Harden, who I can't stand as a basketball player, and I knew we weren't going to win jack with him, and we didn't. We didn't. So, yes, I was very anti the team, but I don't want people to think that that's who I am as a fan. I'm not. At the end of the day, I ride or die for this organization. It's Clippers versus everybody. So when you're trying hard to nail us and you're doing all this, you're against us, buddy. So that's Weasel Torres. Okay? Respect to what he's doing. Respect, man. We're all trying to make it in this world. He's obviously has a big platform. He was on Dan Lebitard's show many years ago. I remember. I'm not one of those new guys that never knew who Weasel Torres was before this, the whole aspiration thing came out. I knew Pablo Torre. But you're now against us. So I'm calling you Weasel Torres. And it's tongue-in-cheek. It's tongue-in-cheek. I'm obviously trolling a bit. But it's like, it's all fun and games, right? You know, I'm a Clipper fan. I'm not I'm just going to be an objective analyst. No, that's not who I am. I'm a fan. I say we on this show and you like it. Clipper fans, I remember I asked everybody, what should I do? Should I say the Clippers or should I say we? And granted, sometimes I get into my professional mode and say the Clippers, but it's we. It's we. I was here before Ballmer, and I'm going to be here after Ballmer too if I'm alive. But the point is, we might be guilty, right? And if we are guilty, because there's a lot of evidence against us, and it's very fishy. I've admitted it's very fishy. I will hold us accountable. I will say I'm ashamed that we cheated. I'm ashamed that, I'm not ashamed to be a fan of this team, but I'm ashamed right now to be a fan of the team that cheated, that circumvented the cap for Kawhi, who ended up not getting us anything but a conference finals appearance, and we didn't play by the rules. It would really hurt me that Steve Ballmer would do that, to not play by the rules. Like, I love it because, I don't love it, but I love the fact that he's willing to do whatever it takes to win. He was willing to do whatever it takes for Kawhi to come to the Clippers, which is so 180 polar opposite of that scumbag Donald Sterling, who wouldn't pay guys. It's so funny. You have a guy that would never pay guys, and then you have a guy that's paying dudes under the table. So it's just the polar opposite end of the spectrum, and obviously I align with Ballmer, and all of us do. But it's not cool to not play by the rules, and I will hold us accountable. But everybody expects me to come out here and say, oh, we're so guilty, we're cheaters, before any punishment has been announced. And I'm not going to do that. I'm not just going to take Weasel Torres' words to the bank. And no other Clipper beat writer, not Money Mona, Law, Adam, it was not a beat writer, but you know what I mean? None of these guys are coming out saying we're guilty, because they're still covering the organization. They still got to report to the Clippers at the end of the day to cover them. So they're not going to come out and just say they're guilty before the investigation finds them guilty. So I'm going to do the same. Why should I not give us the benefit of the doubt when I'm a fan? Because again, some people might, because that's why I brought up the whole objective thing, because people are like, oh, you're supposed to be the objective one. Nah, you guys have gotten too used to me slandering our own team all these years. That's not who I am. That was a phase that lasted a long time. And the reason why I brought all this up is because last year, and I got sidetracked with my rant, but last year, I literally watched all of Weasel Torres' pods. And the reason why I started calling him Weasel Torres is because the first couple pods were really interesting, and I was like, whoa, like, this is crazy. And then he started making it like a wannabe SNL skit where he was making jokes. He's like, don't open envelope number 3, Mr. Sampson. Oh, can you uncover that, Mr. Al Hassan? And like just squirming around in his chair. And I was just like, this is just like, it's like a joke to you now. It's like you're just trying to be performative. It's like, if you want to do Saturday Night Live skits, like, do that. But I showed my dad one time, and he was like, what is this? Why are they giggling like little schoolgirls talking about finances? So I was like, yeah, this is kind of BS. I'm not watching this anymore. But I watched like almost all his pods on the aspiration thing, the ones with Mark Cuban, and I literally dedicated an episode around this time last year to every pod. And every single one was like me analyzing the information, playing devil's advocate at the same time, and then a bunch of fans from other teams around the league. Of course, those are noisy neighbors from downtown coming in, talking about how guilty we are, how much of cheaters we are, how delusional I am for not believing that we cheated, all this stuff, right? And they were going at my neck. And I think a lot of Clipper fans started tuning out because they were like, I want to hear about the team. I want to hear about the basketball. I don't want to hear about this. But so this year, this summer, even though right now we're in the dog days of the offseason, post-summer league and pre-training camp, the pods are coming out, and I just don't have any more patience to watch anymore. Like, I just don't have any more patience to watch the little wannabe SNL skits, the piling on. We're just waiting for a conclusion at this point. We're waiting for an update. We're waiting for the punishment to come out if there is one, or we're waiting for the proposed punishment, which will, of course, end up leading to Ballmer or the Players Association taking this to arbitration, which is where it's bound to go. So my point being, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that we're guilty until the news comes out. It's not right for me as a fan or someone who covers this team to just say we're guilty without it coming out. You want me to just take what Weasel Torres is saying on his podcast and just believe it all the way? I'm not going to do that. I'm not a Laker fan. I'm not a fan of another team. Everyone's like, it's so obvious. It's so obvious. We'll see. That's all I'll say. Maybe it's obvious to you. We'll see. At the end of the day, it's not my job to say it's obvious. It's not my job. It's not. I'm a Clipper fan. Innocent until proven guilty. You're either with us or you're against us. At the end of the day, yes, this is tribal. Yes, man. My tribe versus yours. My club versus yours. My team versus yours. You know what I got to say about the other 29 teams in the league? Screw you. That's what I got to say. Go Clippers. That's what I got to say. I'm a Clipper fan. And I'm proud of it. For real. So, Pablo Torres, and Joe Torre over here, talking about, he had an investment in the Rhode Island Soccer Club, and then Daktronics. The latest news is that Kawhi had a sponsorship deal with Daktronics, the scoreboard company. Now, the latest news came out that the Wachtell Lipton, the firm that's running the investigation, they've already figured out the Rhode Island and the Daktronics. They're already aware of that. So it wasn't like, even though Torres broke the news to the public, I guess, they already found it in their investigation. Now, a lot of people seem to think the investigation is done. They know the Clippers are guilty. They just need to prepare for what Ballmer's going to do in terms of how powerful he is and the lawyers he's going to bring to this and all that. That's what people are saying. They're just worried about Ballmer now. Whatever. I'm not going to say I know or don't. I don't have sources in the league office. I don't. But here's some news that came out today on Monday from Jake Fisher. Apparently, according to him, Kawhi has the full support of the Players Association behind him. So let's just start there. The Players Association is obviously built to represent the players. And a player getting money under the table with illegal no-show sponsorships is obviously a huge violation of fair play, right? Of the salary cap or the CBA. They are not going to allow one of their own to be penalized like this without a fight. Because at the end of the day, Kawhi Leonard is a representation of the players of the NBA. So if Kawhi has the full support of the NBA Players Association behind him, and there's some steep punishment that comes out towards him, like a suspension or avoiding of the contract, the Players Association is going to want to take this to arbitration, and it's going to go to court. And then, obviously, as we know, Steve Ballmer, and this is also from Jake Fisher, Steve Ballmer is prepared to remedy any punishments levied against him and the Clippers. So this is going to go to arbitration. Now, again, it might not if the punishments aren't that crazy or if they say they haven't found anything concrete. It's just circumstantial evidence. You know what I'm saying? It might be that. I doubt it. I think there's a lot of stuff against us here. But what if they do? And then we get off with a little scratch or nothing, a nothing burger. People are talking about us getting, them stripping draft picks from us because that's what happened with Minnesota back in the day. Man, if we lost draft picks, I would lose my mind. I would be devastated because That's all the hope we have to rebuild from this era, from this disaster. And they would make it so that Kawhi Leonard, I would go on record and say he would be the most problematic player that's ever worn a Clipper jersey. Because even if we made it to the conference finals and we got a big star, the price that we've had to pay for that when it comes to failed seasons, losing Shea, losing the picks that we gave to the Thunder, and trading more picks for Harden, quite frankly, to help Kawhi. And now this, which beyond losing draft picks and hurting our future more, would just be a bad look on the franchise. And we as fans, even though we had nothing to do with circumventing the cap, we support this team. So by association, we're going to get grilled too. So it would be the worst thing that's ever happened to our organization if this, like Kawhi Leonard to me would be the worst thing that ever happened to the Clippers if we get found guilty and lose draft picks. Because that's the only hope we have of rebuilding from the trash position that we were put in when we traded SGA for Paul George because of Kawhi. So we can't lose draft picks, man. That would be a disaster. Fine, Ballmer, all the money you want. But I can't stomach losing draft picks. Now, so in that Jake Fisher piece, it talked about, as I said, that Wachtell, Lipton, Rosen and Katz, the firm investigating, had already known about, the allegations. It's not new, but that's basically all we have right now. And yes, there's been news from The Athletic in the last couple of days, even though we already knew this, that Kawhi requested these things from the Lakers and they wouldn't give it to him because they violated the CBA and allegedly the Clippers gave it to him. So we'll just have to wait and see. I don't know if there's any end in sight with this, but again, as I've been doing for a year, it's just waiting and seeing. And again, like when you look at Pablo Torres, Weasel Torres's podcast, I hope nobody's on this that is listening to this show is offended by me calling him that because it's all a joke. But it's like, it's tongue in cheek. We are against you, buddy. We are against you. I hope Pablo Torre fails in finding anything, like in terms of them finding us guilty for anything. And it's just all was for his views. Because, again, of course, I don't want us to be guilty, right? Now, yes, if you're wondering if I think it's weird that the whole aspiration thing, of course it's weird. I'm not an idiot. Of course it's weird. But right now, right? So Torre, or Weasel Torres, in the last couple of weeks, first he released decoding the Kawhi Leonard investigation with DeMaurice Smith 3 weeks ago, right? 2 months ago. This is mind-blowing. Ballmer's secret side deal. Then he did 3 weeks ago, decoding the Kawhi Leonard investigation. Then we followed Kawhi Leonard's money trail after aspiration 11 days ago, which was the Daktronics thing. Then reacting to Kawhi's Rhode Island FC deal, Blazers' new owner and good billionaires with Henry Abbott. And then recently, 3 days ago, new Kawhi sponsorship revealed, 1,000% to circumvent the salary cap. I mean, it's just ongoing, dude. I'm not even listening to these pods anymore. It's not it. But anyway, coming up, going to talk about the latest news about a new Clipper being official. All right, Clipper Nation, talking about Yuki Kawamura being signed on Exhibit 10, the investigation updates. But we got an update, too, from the LA Clippers, and that is that Jamarion Sharp has officially been signed to a two-way contract. So Jamarion Sharp, Nick Martinelli, and Jalen Pickett. But the Clippers, I don't think officially have come out with the Jalen Pickett news. That's why the beat writers still haven't reported on it. But the news did come out. By the way, the schedule drops this month, the 2026-27 schedule, this week, actually. So beats tuned for that podcast. That one's going to come out. But they made it official about Yuki Kawamura 20 hours ago via the Twitter. And then on Sunday, official, we've signed Jamarion Sharp to a two-way contract. 7'5" Jamarion Sharp. And then that's about it. There's nothing about Jalen Pickett yet, or that Sean Padula's been waived. That all came from Michael Scotto. So with Jamarion Sharp, we just know that's kind of insurance for Yannick being out. To start the season, it feels like we're going to have Brook Lopez starting and then Isaiah Jackson coming off the bench. Jamarion Sharp is on a two-way, but Baba Miller would technically be ahead of him in the rotation because he's on a standard contract. But maybe there's some doubts about if Baba can play the 5 at the NBA level, whereas this guy is 7'5". But Baba Miller, definitely more mobile, better handle. We'll see how that goes. You know what I mean? We'll see if Baba Miller, because he's on the standard contract, I mean, they're both going to spend time in the G League, but gets more of a look or is higher in the depth chart. And then we have Jonai Broome, who's also on a standard contract. So we got plenty of depth now at the center position, to say the least. But with Baba, he's 6'11", and he's skinny right now. Jamarion Sharp is 7'5", 24 years old, and was on the Texas Legends for the last 2 years in the G League. And he was the G League Defensive Player of the Year last season. So that's big time. Blocks leader, all defensive team. So that's good. It makes you optimistic that maybe he can do some things in the NBA. Maybe he can just give us some, like right now, it would only be if Isaiah Jackson or Brook Lopez got hurt. But that's the deal right now with the Clippers. Now, when you look at the Clippers roster, the team payroll, Jonai Broome is making $2 million. Baba Miller is making $1,705,630. So we got these guys on their deals, but we shall see how it goes. Again, right now, Isaiah Jackson's making $7 million. He's clearly the backup after Brook Lopez. And then when Giannis comes back, I don't know if all those centers are going to be on the roster anymore, but we'll have to wait and see. But Jamarion Sharp is official, Clipper Nation, and it's good just to know that we're moving in that direction. And now we just got to wait. The Ben Mathurin thing is a standstill because of this Kawhi stuff. The Peyton Watson thing is a standstill because of this Kawhi stuff. So we just got to keep on waiting. You can follow me on Twitter at DimeDropper_LA. You can follow me on Instagram at DimeDropperPod and TikTok at DimeDropperPod. And my backup Twitter account is at DimeDropperPod. And of course, you can subscribe to Dime Dropper on YouTube for more LA Clipper, LA Sports, and NBA content. And of course, Locked On Clippers, free and available wherever you get your podcasts, including YouTube, where I want you to get us to 9,000 subscribers before the start of training camp. You can also listen wherever you get your podcasts. The age-old proverb continues, go Clippers till the death of me, brother.